Give me a drink, bartender.
Voice acting in video games has always been a compelling topic for me. The fact that you can have a game that costs this, but sounds like this. It's beautiful. When it comes to voice acting, you have the good and the bad. The bad that's good, the good that's bad. But that's a video for a whole nother day. This is about how we got here. Where developers like Rockstar, Naughty Dog, hell, even Valve are producing award-winning games and extremely fun gameplay. They're producing some of the best fiction ever written and performed. But the act of actually having a real person perform this dialogue is only fairly recent. I mean, the gaming industry has only been around for 50 some odd years. From the late 50s and early 70s when physicists were making a pixel go back and forth. Riveting. Or to the mid-80s when arcades ruled the world. In a world of anti-drug commercials, no Donkey Kong, and high-C Ecto Cooler, gamers were on the up and up. Games like Pac-Man, Tetris, Frogger, all coming out to massive success and acclaim. These were the OGs that set the bar and brought millions of people to the arcades. Now, these games are meant to be ingested in micro doses, being that each time you play, everyone starts the same. The goal, regardless of the title, was to just get better and better each time you played, because Jimmy beat my 45K on Galaga and my dad still won't give me $1 for quarters. I mean, there's not much room in these games for stories anyway. I mean, popular cases like Donkey Kong, which is just King Kong, by the way. It's laid out pretty clearly what you're doing. You're getting Girl from Monkey so you can go home, watch Rescue Rangers, and eat PB&J sandwiches cut into triangles. Thanks, Mom. Another thing you gotta remember, these games were small. I'm talking itty-bitty little file sizes. Even if the developer wanted to add more levels or something. At that point, it'd just be cheaper to make a new game, like a glorified expansion pack. New levels, new items, new music. That being said, pun intended, this is really why the older games didn't have much more than beat boops and bangers. There just wasn't any space. Hello? Oh. Hell yeah. Speech synthesis, baby! Who needs actual people to do voice? We have a computer do it for you. Speech synthesis, text-to-speech, or TTS if you're a gamer, is the act of giving words and letters mathematical code, having a computer that understands that code, spit it out into a synthesizer as actual phonetic dialogue, as you can see by this creepy Frankenstein signal flow. It would save space and give the developers a little bit more artistic liberty in what they do. And more importantly, it saves the money. First game people really took note of was Berserk. There's not much there, is there?
It's a top-down shooter where you're shooting the bad robots. Now, this game actually doesn't have any music, and that makes sense, as well as the minimal graphical content. Most of the game is holding the actual text-to-speech files more than anything else.
More and more games started to pop up everywhere using text-to-speech. Wizards of War, Castle Wolfenstein. All these games started popping up and everyone knew it was only a matter of time before some really magical happened. Boom, you guessed it, baby. M-I-C-K-U. 1983, Don Bluth and Disney released Dragon's Lair. Considered to be the first actual game with real voice acting in it, this game is, by all definitions, an interactive movie. Think Telltale meets Dead Storm Pirates. It's a game where as long as you know where to look and what to press at the right time, you're just kind of watching a movie. Also, if we're being honest, the voice acting is more like a series of grunting. I mean, all of the main cast were just people they had lying around. The voice of the main character, Dirk, is sound editor Dan Molina, who went on to voice Disney's most iconic role, Fish Out of Water from Chicken Little. Princess Daphne's in-game vocals were voiced by head of AMS's cleanup department, Vera Laffner, who didn't voice anyone in Chicken Little, so what's that got to say about her work ethic? Vera, mind you, this game is about 10 minutes long, if you hit everything perfect, and the only dialogue that happens is in the last 3, where this scantily clad princess, who seems a little too excited to be captured, kids game by the way, begs you to save her. Now, despite the audio issues this game clearly has and the overtly sexual voice acting,
with a key, the dragon keeps it around his neck.
Disney blew everyone away. For just 50 cents, this couldn't be beat. And at the verge of the great console war, things were about to get hairy. I don't know. Things were about to go to unimaginable levels.
See what I did there?
This is when the first console wars started. Sega was trying to did what Nintendo didn't. Everyone was blasting processes. And I, not even born yet. Console games meant games in your home. Games in your home meant games dedicated to certain systems. Games dedicated to certain systems means I can play Space Ace on the NES. Never mind. Thayer's Quest. Ghostbusters on the Commodore 64. Zelda CD. I don't want to play it. But regardless of how bad or good the game is, or how bad the voice acting is, or text-to-speech is, it was the start of something incredible. Just a decade after all of this, in 1995, after jumping platform to platform, we hear Mario's first spaghetti, voiced by Charles Martinet. And then a couple years later, Nintendo comes out with Mario 64 and brings Charles back to voice all the Arios and EGs for here to come. Now in 64, there wasn't a lot of dialogue, but for every jump, skip, so long, Gay Bowser, there was always some sort of vocal recognition to remind us of our boy. The only real dialogue is at the start when Princess Toadstool is asking you to have some cake. And these are just some examples on how this art form has evolved through the decades. Even to this day, high-level development companies like Nintendo are still using games with text-to-speech as a mainliner of the series. Take a game like Animal Crossing. This game came out in the year 2020 and still uses a little bit of text-to-speech. Call Emily. Even more indie development companies are finding creative ways to utilize audio as speech in games. Even a game like Hollow Knight that uses more of a gibberish style for its characters. Okay. Like a game like The Sims. Skibble-a-moose. Skabba-doo-da-bop. I struggled writing an end for this, but it's because I really care about this topic, and it's something that really inspires me. I mean, voice acting brings two things that I love together: audio and theater. And the fact that you just put them in video games is just pretty cool. I don't know if there was too much of a point to this video. I hope my brief history on robot talk to people speech in video games sufficed. I hope you learned something. Maybe go back and play a game, dust off that copy of Chicken Shoot for the Wii. I just hope maybe you can look at voice acting specifically for video games a little more differently.